asked why. Let's ask Nancy Pfotenhauer. She's a senior economic advisor to the McCain campaign. Nancy, before we get into the meat of that, I do want to ask you for your reaction to what we have just heard Meghan explain there, the decision coming down from the Supreme Court.
Well, it's almost word for word what Meghan described as her reaction. I mean, essentially, we're very disappointed, but we understand that the Supreme Court was ruling on a very narrow basis on whether or not the Ohio Republican Party had standing to bring this case. However, this just kind of bumps it back to the state courts because obviously the Ohio Republican Party has standing there.
Nancy, we only have a couple minutes, and I do want to get into the strategy as we take a look at Carl's map there. You know, so many of these states, if you look at the polls, they're not really considered toss-ups anymore. I want to read you a quote from the woman who puts together the Des Moines Register poll. She said, for instance, in Iowa, when we saw the poll numbers, quote, we thought it's no longer a toss-up state, and no one thinks it is except the McCain campaign. It just feels to me, she says, quote, undisciplined. Your reaction?
Well, the last thing we are right now is undisciplined. I mean, obviously, as the clock ticks down, we have to make very, very precise decisions based on time clock and on a resource constraint that, by the way, Obama doesn't really have since he threw over the side of the boat his promise to the American people to comply with public financing. But we have to be very, very careful about our resource allocations, and I can assure you that they're based on the very best internal polling that we have. And remember, some of these states, we have been head-to-head or above at different times, and we've got an incredible ground operation out there, and we are only allocating resources where we think we have the ability to win.
Let's talk about these three states that your candidate is going to be focusing on so closely in the coming days that he's trying to reclaim his ground in, one of them being Virginia. Right now, the polls have Barack Obama up 8 points. The Obama campaign has said Virginia is one of 2 states that they think they have their best shot at stealing from the GOP column, the other one being Colorado.
Well, I mean, obviously, Northern Virginia particularly has become more of a Democratic stronghold as people left Washington, D.C. and moved into Northern Virginia. And I can say that as a proud resident of Oakton, Virginia. But we are competing very fiercely in Virginia. We believe that we will hold that state. And remember that we're challenging Obama in places like Pennsylvania, in places like New Hampshire. And he's clearly concerned about it because he is allocating not just his own time or Senator Biden's time, but some of his biggest swinging surrogates, the Clintons, out to try to hold on to Pennsylvania. And like I say about Biden, you never quite know what he's going to say in a speech, but there is one line you can count on, and that's, I was born in Scranton.
Nancy, before we run out of time, I want to get to North Carolina, too. The average of polls has got Obama up by just a hair over 1. It's voted Republican since '76, but one GOP strategist is quoted as saying, you know, you were mentioning the money issue and the amount of money being spent on media. He's quoted as saying Obama is killing McCain on the air here.
Well, it's clear that Senator Obama is trying to flood the airwaves, but that, you know, our faith is ultimately going to be placed in the American people, and that's why you are seeing the polls tighten as more and more people focus on the difference in paths articulated between Senator McCain and Senator Obama. You couldn't get a starker contrast. You know, just look at that spread the wealth around quote that Obama made. Senator McCain believes that that this nation's prosperity was built on people being able to work hard and then realize the fruits of their labor, and that government shouldn't be confiscating it and redistributing it.
Nancy Pfotenhauer is one of John McCain's senior advisors, and we should point out we had one of Barack Obama's on last hour. Good to see you, Nancy. Thanks.
Good to see you, Jane. Thank you.